You just don't lose. And this is one of them. Morgan O'Brien, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Hope Gas and Hearthstone. He also holds a position as President and CEO of Hope Utilities. It's great to see you again on the Metropolitan Window video screen. You can see it and listen to it stream live by going to kdkradio.com and KDK Watch. So you've been kicking around in this business a long time, sir. Explain to me that I can explain it. Why does natural gas have such an important part when it comes to these data centers? Good evening.
Well, it's great to have a conversation with you again, Rob. It's been a while. Really missed the good conversation. So, it's real simple. These data centers have been around actually for a long time, and the punchline is they use energy, right? A lot of energy. But what's happened with artificial intelligence, the amount of energy they require has grown exponentially, and now it's the secret is instead of building data centers where people are, they're building them where energy is. And, Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, this region is the richest part of the country for natural gas. And, natural gas is rich, plentiful, and it produces the most efficient energy in the world. So, this is now, I'll just say it, the secret ingredients, the special things that we've been blessed with here is actually bringing meaningful business here and meaningful investments that, we've never seen before.
What do you think of the summit, sir? I mean, I just found it to be spectacular. Senator McCormick, the president, the governor, and even though you have a residence here, you're well aware this is going to benefit West Virginia as well. But your thoughts about this incredible historic day at Carnegie Mellon?
Yeah, I mean, it's really just, I'll just say, shining a spotlight on what this region is. It's, we've always been a region that we make things and build things. People forget how much energy is here, and this is a unique place. It's nowhere else in the world we have this, and so to be able to shine a spotlight to say this important initiative, the people talk about the race we're having with China to dominate the data center, artificial intelligence world. Here in Western Pennsylvania, right, we have all the ingredients, the institutions, the people, and obviously energy is such an important part of it that it really highlights, I think, the special things that make up this region and make us such a special place.
We being baby boomers still working, I think we do it because it's our passion and we love to be a part of the show, if you will. But you've been at this a long time, and people for many years always thought of gas as, to cook your food, keep you warm in the winter. But I look at it much larger and bigger as far as the picture is concerned. Do you think people understand what a game changer this is for the natural gas industry and those generational wealth type of paychecks, people that work for utilities like their parents and grandparents before them? This is going to guarantee work for people in the utility industry, such as at Hope Gas, the building trades as well, and the Eastern Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters have a nice footprint in West Virginia as well. So there's a lot at stake other than just trying to figure out what data centers do, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And we used to think as a child, right, the steel industry was the fountain of all the jobs in this region. And if you think of how energy intensive manufacturing of steel is, these data centers use more energy than a steel mill, right? Like that's the part you can't get your head around.
I can't.
And yeah, and it's like I've said, I've been in this industry for multiple decades, and never has there been a point in time when we need more energy, and what we need is natural gas, and what we need is right here beneath our feet.
You think a cracker plant will ever come to West Virginia and one to Ohio? Look, with Exxon being here at this summit makes me believe that British Petroleum, Exxon, and others, just like Shell, realizing that the world is changing, getting away from petroleum and gasoline and moving towards away from oil to natural gas. I really think this is going to be a commodity that people are going to want from all over the world, and they're going to have to come to us. I think this could be as big for us as OPEC is for the Middle East.
Yeah, I actually agree, Rob. And I think, if you just start putting all the dots together, right? So this is energy intensive, like we've never seen before, industry needing lots of energy, and they're coming here, right? We didn't have to recruit them. They're coming here because this is where the energy is. And if you start taking that further, right, we let all the manufacturing that used to be done here go overseas. And if you think about it, the key component now in manufacturing, people would argue years ago it was labor. So we had high labor costs theoretically. But now, with artificial intelligence, energy is the most important thing about manufacturing. And so it's not just, I'll say, the petrochemicals, but also just the making of the things that we use instead of made in China, made in, you know, other places of the world. Why not made here? Why not made here in this region? And I think having all this energy and people realizing that we have all this energy, I think that's going to open the door for a much, much broader, exciting future that we can start not only build things but make things here, and that's what really this region's roots come from, right?
Listen, I'm so happy to have you here, and I don't do this that often, but because you're such a get for me, I want to keep you one more segment because there's so many things I want to pick your brain about.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it. He's the Chief Executive Officer, Morgan O'Brien of Hope Gas. Tell him a little bit about your brand in West Virginia before we go to break. Go ahead, Morgan.
Yeah, we're following what we did up here in Pennsylvania. It's West Virginia's. It's a small mirror of what we have in Pennsylvania. It's rich in energy. It's rich with good people, and it's rich with opportunity to invest. And we're growing fast in West Virginia. We're having a lot of fun, and we're getting to, I'll just say, put a lot of really good people to work down there, which is really, when you get up in the morning, you feel good about that.
That's what it's all about. Place to go to hang your hat. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. So honored to have him here tonight. Morgan O'Brien, Chief Executive Officer, Hope Gas, one of us doing great things in that wild and wonderful mountaineer state that is West Virginia. Also, when we come back, I got to get his thoughts on Nippon U.S. Steel and something else West Virginia and places like Fayette County are famous for, the coal industry. One of the things that Nippon Steel has said, they'll continue to make steel the good old-fashioned way with coal. That's right, until 2050. So that means a lot for future in the way of jobs as well. So please stay with us. Much more. Morgan O'Brien, CEO, Hope Gas, with your Pratt Pack tonight on KDKA. Back with more in a moment. All right, it's a mutual admiration society here tonight. Morgan O'Brien, Hope Gas, but we're spreading the love because a lot of love is being spread and will continue to be economically for the good people of the tri-state. You know, I had Jim Struzzi on earlier tonight, Morgan. He, of course, state representative of Indiana County. He was there tonight in Homer City, and the trip broke this just moments ago. Members of the public got their first detailed look Wednesday evening at what would be the largest natural gas-fired power plant in the U.S., built 3,200 acres in Homer City, and it will have 10,000 building trades members working on it and then 1,000 full-time employees. So another great story. And before we kind of go on with our interview, what people need to understand, and I've been trying to stress this, these data centers not only going to have a lot of the building trades, but you're going to have a large permanent workforce too. 1,000 people at one facility. That's something to really get excited about long term. Morgan O'Brien.
Yeah, I mean, and Rob, these are huge power plants we're building, right? I mean, these are unprecedented. The amount of energy, electricity that's going to be, you know, made right on site. I mean, that's the secret here. They're building not only these data centers, but they're building power plants that will become captive to those single customers and provide all the energy they need there. And those, as you say, these are good family sustaining jobs. This is what makes and made Western Pennsylvania the great place it is.
You really like doing that, don't you? Ever since I've known you, it's always been about the workforce and helping them, get ahead a little bit and have the things that we all want in life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the definition of success, when you get any opportunity to have any impact on decisions, on leading, it's all about what impact you can have on others, right? I mean, that's why we're here. So this is, to me, it's an exciting time for my industry, but it's because of all the kids that are in high school, the kids that are thinking about their future, to stay in this region, to have good jobs that support their families, and literally to be proud of what they're doing.
Absolutely. And now they're going to have a future. So what do you make of the Nippon U.S. Steel deal? That's really exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And, from the very beginning, this is U.S. Steel's been just a core of what this region is, right? I can't imagine what this world would look like without U.S. Steel being here. And thank goodness we don't, right? This is, It was a long journey. There were times, I'll just say, it was worried, but there's so many just really important aspects to that business, and most importantly, it's the good people that work out there, right? That those are good jobs. They're going to stay here, and they're going to continue to invest in that facility, which is really critical. We want to make things here. This is what Western Pennsylvania does well, and those, I'll just say, good union-paying jobs out there are just a really bright spot for the future of our region.
I was hearing for years about Nippon Steel from a friend of mine who traveled the world in the steel industry, and his word was his bond. So I was all in on Nippon years ago. But you know what I
Yeah,
kept hearing about? I did play-by-play sports in your part of the world down in West Virginia for a number of years, and I would travel to places like Weirton and Wheeling. Well, that footprint down there at the old Wheeling pit with, of course, Nippon was a good indicator of what they were going to do. Everybody that I know who lives in Wheeling or has worked there has had nothing but rave reviews for Nippon.
yeah. These are good people. This is a great partnership. That they've made so many really strong commitments of what they're going to invest, what they're going to do, and like you said, they have a track record here. That these are good people. Like we should have been welcoming them with open arms. But the most important thing is we ended up in the right place, right? This is a happy ending and a really bright ending for our steel workers here in this region.
So, what does it do for those mine workers in the great state of West Virginia? What do you think?
It's the ripple effect, right? These facilities will continue to operate and produce the coal that makes the steel, right? That builds the buildings. That this is what makes this region great. Like we are the people that produce the energy and build the steel that makes this country, special. And it's just it makes me excited just to hear those words, right? That we're going to continue to do this for quite a long time, and all those jobs, all those really important jobs that put food on the table and support those families will continue here, and that the next generation of workers, right? It's not just those sitting in those chairs today. It's the kids in high school, right? The kids in those small towns who think about their future. These jobs are going to be there because of this agreement and really the commitment that they've made here.
How about Westinghouse nuclear power plants? And I think of that green power plant that Mr. Gates was talking about in West Virginia. I mean, there's just
Yeah,
so much. And when you look at natural gas, in my opinion, it's the only way I will ever heat my home or make my meals because I'm a firm believer in it. Always have been. It's clean. It's burning. The price is right. But I think this is also going to benefit the consumer when it comes to utilities. People have said, well, our utility bills are going to go up. I don't think that's the case because you're going to have more tax revenue. You're going to have better paychecks coming into the community, and people won't feel the hurt as much as maybe they do now if they're on that budget or they in between jobs or not making what they would hope to make. I think the consumers are going to benefit from this too, especially when it comes to that very important product that's natural gas. Morgan.
yeah, absolutely, Rob. And you hit all the highlights there. That the region, the state, the whole area. We do better when more people are working and earning good wages, right? And the fact that we're going to be producing more energy here. This region is going to become, just from a global perspective, not just a national perspective, a leader in energy production. And I'll just say it, that's going to create a lot of competitive advantages in this region. And like I said, I think there's going to be a lot more manufacturing that ends up here, and all those manufacturers create really good jobs for people, and we become a much more vibrant community. And we'll have, I'll just say it, more energy being made here than anywhere else in the world. And then that's a huge advantage. And so people will see the benefits of having all that energy being made here in this region.
Let's focus on your brand, Hope. And I've been doing a little bit of research, not just because of your appearance here, but because when I heard you actually went over to help them out. What are you guys doing as far as in West Virginia that can kind of tie into what we're talking about here tonight?
So these again, these data centers with this energy needs. West Virginia is like, there's people that say it's the little brother here. I'm down there, so I don't feel like a little brother. I feel like a big star. we are competing for other projects that are very similar to these projects up here. West Virginia has all the attributes. It's got all the coal, the natural gas, all the energy resources, plus access to water, right, which is a key attribute. We don't talk about all the rivers we have here. And when you put all those ingredients together, it makes for the perfect environment to put more, I'll just say, large energy producing assets in that region. So we are right now in the midst of putting more pipes in the ground than the company has ever done before.
Fantastic.
We're investing billions of dollars in putting that infrastructure that will take the gas out of the ground to build those energy facilities. And every dollar we invest, 50 cents of it, if you think of $1 billion investment, 500 million of that is for labor, right? Those are good family jobs. We're creating a lot of jobs in West Virginia right now, Rob. And I'll just say it's what helps me sleep at night, but actually gets me excited to get up in the morning.
Listen, it's what buys groceries, and it all comes down to feeding your family and putting a roof over their head. And the other thing, I was talking to Mayor Dewan Walker of Aliquippa about their possibility of this plant and the millions that'll be spent there, but he talked about the tax base could generate as much as over 90 million. And they'll also be able to power their community. Can you imagine $90 million going into a place, God bless them, that was the driving force in the steel industry for years, like Aliquippa? How much of a difference maker that's going to be for them, Morgan?
Yeah, and it's if you're going to bed at night in Aliquippa and wondering about your future, this really brings you hope, right? This is definition of what hope is about. And I'm as excited for those towns, those people, those jobs, right? We have them throughout this multi-state area here. Honestly, Rob, this is, it's not going to, people will think of the stockholders and the people that make all the money from the wealth that's being driven here, but really the real storyline, this is the heart of blue collar jobs, energy, all of these opportunities that we're talking about. There are just multiples and multiples of, I call it middle class blue collar jobs, which is really what this country's been missing, right? That's a hole that's now, this is going to really help fill, and especially fill in this region.
Listen, as I was talking, one of the last interviews, I was actually at his house, Dick Shaw, who used to run Michael Baker, God rest his soul. I asked him, I said, do you have any regrets? He goes, I wish I was a little younger. And I said, why? He said, because I'd like to stick around to see how this ends. And now you and I are that age. I hope I can live a little bit longer because I want to see how this unfolds, right?
Yeah, I'm going to keep this fire going and put as much in there as I can, and like we're all going to do, hand it off to the next person to make sure it keeps burning, right?
Listen, I did something special when I go home because of your appearance tonight, because of your wonderful heritage. I bought a fifth of Jameson, and I'm going to have a little toast of Irish whiskey tonight in honor of you being here. I'm a big fan of you.
And I'll be toasting you the same Jameson whiskey. I have it here.
Listen, I owe you so much, and just know it works two ways. If I can ever meet you halfway or come to West Virginia to help you promote, I'm all in.
I would do that, Rob. And whenever you send me a note, I answer.
Oh, yeah. Listen, right away. The last person that did that was a true family member, and that's what I consider you. God bless.
Yeah. God bless you.
Hope rings eternal. Hope gas. Keep it going. All right.
Keep it going. That's right. Thanks, Rob.